They're being brutalized, they are being tortured, and it is just a very horrible thing to hear. They recently also had an internet blackout, so people aren't able to necessarily hear all the news that is happening from these people there. But some things have come out on TikTok that we have seen, but after they post those things, they go missing or they get
their accounts banned.
Yeah, their accounts banned, something like that. So it's just really upsetting. And do you want to add anything?
Yeah, so the protest actually began because a young woman, I don't want to pronounce her name incorrectly, but her last name was Amini, and she was 22 years old, and she was arrested by the morality police because she wasn't wearing her hijab correctly, like Alexa said, and that kind of set off a bunch of protests on college campuses, and women in Iran were protesting wearing the hijab. And it started off at one university, and then it started to spread across the country and make it to social media, which is the biggest part about this because, like Alexa said, there's an internet blackout. So any information that they're putting out there, that's what the people in America are seeing in other countries. Everything else, it's not directly reported to us. So people are finding out these crazy stories from TikTok, and then their TikTok will get removed, and we don't really know what happened. So they're really facing a whole world of danger right now by standing up for their rights as women. It's very, very disappointing, and it's very, very scary, and I stand with all the women of Iran, and everyone should.
Me as well.
We're banning these videos. Why are these accounts getting banned?
It's the country, because
Iran is
the supreme leader, their government doesn't allow
TikTok
that.
Is a Chinese
Yeah, well, China has their own sector of TikTok as well. Iran didn't have their own sector of TikTok, but you know what they post is supposed to be limited. So speaking out against the government is not something that should be happening, especially if it has to do with, you know, the morality.
That they're. What even is the morality police?
The morality police is a sector of the police in Iran, and they basically are meant just to enforce guidelines on how you're supposed to wear your clothing appropriately. So it mainly targets women.
It only targets
women, and it's basically just how they wear their hijab, how they cover up. They can't wear clothes that are too tight fitting to their body. They have to wear loose clothing. Their hijabs have to be tight enough, which because people have been taking them off and protesting everything, that's how they're getting brutalized by the mortality police.
Do you guys know, is it like everyone, like all the women being there? Like, are there certain women who aren't religious in Iran? Like,
it doesn't matter. Like,
that's the whole, point of the morality police is to keep that in place so that these women are following the rules. And now the women are standing up for their equal rights, which is not something that you really see in Iran because of their religious aspect.
And think about how brave you have to be to take off your hijab, do whatever, say whatever, and knowing that you could literally get killed the next day or go missing. It's just
absolutely
awful. And I really feel for the people there, and I really
hope that these women continue fighting and they achieve equal rights because it's just a horrible, horrible thing to see. But I stand with all the women of Iran.
Me as well.
And hopefully there's enough publicity that goes around that will end this scenario altogether.
But and that's why social media is such a big part, because that's how we're finding out these insider stories of these women who are deciding to tell their stories. Like, I've seen a couple of TikToks of women basically alerting their social media accounts, hey, you might not hear from me. I decide I'm gonna protest, I'm gonna take off my hijab, and I'm gonna go out into the streets and protest, and then after that you won't see any videos from them anymore.
It kind of makes me a little aggravated that we find out all of this
nothing we
insane information over TikTok. Why are we not covered by news?
That's the
NBC, ABC. Where are you guys now?
I mean, they now
jumping on news stories. Where are you now?
I mean, now they're reporting on it, but social media is so important in this because we're finding out the news straight from their TikTok accounts. And that's why, of course there's negatives and there's positives to social media, and that's why I do believe that in this instance it is a positive because we're directly seeing how these women feel when they post on their social media accounts.
Exactly.
And I really feel for these women in Iran, but
social media is so important in this because we're finding out the news straight from their TikTok accounts. And that's why, of course there's negatives and there's positives, social media, and that's why I do believe that in this instance it is a positive because we're directly seeing how these women feel when they post on their social media accounts.
Exactly.
Yes. And I really feel for these women in Iran, but and so in other news in America, there's been some news circulating the NCAA. So Andrew, take it away.
So there was a bit of a big game this weekend. I don't know if you heard about it. University of Tennessee against University of Alabama. And the University of Tennessee beat Alabama for the first time in over 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And so there was a bit of a celebration going on. 100,000 fans storming the field, and along with goalposts being torn down. So it was a huge,
I can't believe
good old
that.
party.
The goalpost.
I saw a TikTok of goalposts
like,
floating on the river, like 2 miles down the road.
That must be heavy, so heavy. That means
they what,
multiple
just-
people
They
had
just
to.
carried it like all the way down the street.
Oh my
very
God.
confused at first because I'm like, first, how'd they get it down? And then they carried it from the field up the stands.
Yeah, like that means they had to go up the stairs and out like through the
They must
door,
have had,
like.
like,
Where there's a
100
will,
people
there's a
on
way.
that.
Yeah, for real.
I'd say probably 5,000 people were on that.
Oh, I bet.
project.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
bet.
everyone
How
had
else?
hands, like every area.
I wonder if there's pictures of that.
Yeah,
I'd love to see
I don't
that.
know why they sent it down the river. I would have taken it home.
Yeah, like
put it in your
on
basement or
display,
something.
like
That would've been
On your
great.
front lawn.
basement.
On your front lawn.
I would have been like a 70-year-old grandpa being like, yeah, this right here. This
Back
is
in
the
my
one.
day.
We stole this from the field.
Yep, this is the one. Right through.
It's an
right through
archive.
one. This one we beat Alabama.
Yeah, I saw a couple of TikToks of like college girls on the bus ride home from Alabama, and they were like, "I just spent my whole weekend being berated by,
no.
people that go to Tennessee."
They had it coming though,
Yeah.
because they've been on top for so long
Yeah.
that
They deserve their
And like when
their
you win like
celebration.
that after 6 years, you best believe that they're celebrating for days
Oh,
afterwards.
Oh,
sure
Tennessee's
it's still
on
going
the
on.
up. They are on the up.
oh yeah.
sure they are. Sure they
And I have
are.
a friend there, so I'm sure he had a good time.
Oh yeah, you got to get his
You should find out what
his
it,
inside
yeah.
scoop.
For real.
You could update us on that.
Inside
Should've gone
scoop.
there.
Yeah, update us. We'll come back to it eventually.
sure.
Now we're gonna send it over to MXG. Take it away.
Hello, we are MXG.
I am Mo.
And I'm Grace. So, today we are going to talk about one of our favorite groups that is also beloved by millions of other people across the country. BTS.
BTS, the
Yeah. So we're going to talk about their enlistment into the military. One thing that I do want to say is the fact that all Korean males are required to enlist for at least 2 years, and they are supposed to go from ages 18 to 28. But BTS got a revised law passed for them. So what do you know about it? What do you think about it?
What I think? I mean, I saw it coming, but I didn't see it like right now.
Yeah, me
But,
too.
Like, I also saw it coming because you know how they're like on a hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
They're all like going to like basically their solo careers now.
Yeah.
saw
I mean,
it coming.
I never thought this day would come, but like obviously like they have to go at
They
some
have
point,
to
and like
go.
at this point like it is the perfect time for them to go right now.
Especially when they're already getting old. Like, they
Yeah.
have to now.
I know. But when they did go on their hiatus, their South Korea's economy dropped.
Yeah, I've heard like millions, like they lost millions.
Yeah, because they went on their hiatus, which I think
7
is
guys.
crazy. Like
7 guys.
7 males are able to control one's economy. But the reason why they were able to not bypass, but they were able to put a pause on their draft is because they were honored an order of multicultural merits, and that's the reason why they were able to postpone their draft.
Yeah, the government basically played with them with their
I
like
heard about that.
exemption with their military enlistment, but like they decided on their own to go
Yeah.
to the military.
Yeah, and Jin, who's 30, who was supposed to go before 28, he is going, I think, in December. But he's dropping a solo album before he enlists.
excited for
I'm
that. I
so
love the solo.
excited.
Since he's my favorite. Ugh.
Honestly, I'm kind of like, I'm not sad, but I support them, and like their army, which is their fan base, also supports their decision as well.
Okay, anyways, let's keep that outside. Let me hear your story on how you got into like BTS.
BTS? Okay.
Yeah.
Every fan has a different story.
They do, because out of my experience, I've heard like different stories. Like
Yeah,
out of
same.
my
Every
story.
single time that I ask someone, it's always different. But basically, it was pretty simple. I remember watching James Corden
Oh, carpool!
karaoke-
It's always in the carpool.
karaoke with BTS.
Oh no!
And at first I was like, oh, like, you know, it's a cute video, but I didn't really think much of it. And then I showed it to my sister, and then my sister was
got
like,
it.
what are their names? I need to know. And then soon it was always on my living room TV, and then I was like, okay, they're kind of
becoming
good.
a
They're kind of
daily
good.
thing.
So yeah,
Have
that
to
was kind of it.
Have to stand.
What about you?
Oh, for me, my first group was Monsta X. So I didn't know anything about
I'm kinda surprised,
BTS
really?
at the time. But in middle school in 8th grade, I saw this girl. We were in Spanish together. She always listened to BTS. She's like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to this like K-pop concert. Like, you should listen to these guys. And I'm like, okay, I will give them a listen, but I'm not into that, like into them.
Yeah.
But at the time, I did listen to like K-pop. So at that time, I started listening to BTS, gave them a try, and I'm like, I have to go, like become like a full-time stan.
I know. Mine was in like 2020.
2020.
Yeah. So I was kind of like an early babe.
That's nice. Anyways, this is a wrap for our segment. We're gonna head back to Tess. Thank you guys.
Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Oval. We're gonna end off today's episode talking about some new albums that are gonna be released. So we have
yeah.
Taylor Swift, Midnights,
We got The Car by Arctic Monkeys.
We got Lana Del Rey. Don't know the album title yet.
and what is Carly Rae Jepsen's?
Hers is The Loneliest Time.
The Loneliest
Yeah.
Time.
She's switching
So
up her whole.
yes,
her whole
she's
vibe,
so
yeah.
she went from bubblegum pop to now she's moving to like more electronic sound. I don't really know what that means or what she's gonna do with that,
honestly
but
do
like
think it's gonna be like a
if it's-
hit for
I
some
could
people.
see
like
her doing,
house,
like, EDM
like kind
vocals,
of
kind
EDM
of.
house, like
I
don't
feel like
know.
almost like a
It's like
Flume
electro
type
pop.
of like Grizz.
Yeah.
Anyone, if you guys know Grizz.
Grizz.
Flume,
Oh,
anyone,
Grizz.
I think she's gonna be like that, like just female vocals on like nice like.
She's got a
EDM
great
house
voice,
things. I
you
hope
know?
it's that
Yeah.
at least. Like she has a great
She's
voice.
back.
Call me out if I'm wrong, but she hasn't been relevant for
No,
so
she has
long.
not.
Yeah, she has
and
not.
that's why.
Maybe.
And all
No
of a
one
sudden,
called her.
they're calling her now. They're calling her back years later. So that's what.
It's time to hang it up. Like,
I mean, you're
come on.
still hearing her song out wherever you go.
That's
I've
true,
been hearing
though,
that
you know?
Yeah.
everywhere.
Which
like,
song?
so that
Call Me Maybe.
Call Me Maybe.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
she's
I've heard
trying
that
to
one.
demolish that whole like
Probably, yeah.
that
Persona that she
yeah,
has,
that she's a
yeah.
one-hit wonder. So that's why she is continuing. She's got a great voice. I mean, as of now, she is a one-hit wonder. But
She
people
had
are
that one
really.
song with Fireflies, which she featured on. Oh my god!
I have no
forget what
idea.
it's
I
called.
don't know it.
I don't know the Carly. The
Carly T.
I
The
forgot,
Carly
I
T.
forget
Carly
the song.
era.
Oh, Good
like-
Time. Whoa, it's always
That's
a good
her?
time. Yeah,
Oh,
that's her.
Fire song.
Okay, so it'll be a
I didn't
bop.
know
We'll
that
give
was
it
her
a
either.
Yeah, so I think she might be on the come up. Let's see. I
Yeah,
hope
she's
she
on the
does
up.
well. But Taylor Swift, another
Coming out tonight,
terms.
right?
Yeah.
1201 Midnights.
Be on the lookout.
What's the album? Do you know anything about the album?
So I know there's a whole bunch of Swifties, and you guys are like FBI's out there, but she, I guess, is telling a story with the song about like 13 sleepless nights and like what she went through in these like separate 13 nights throughout her life, and I guess she is just like going into more depth and like revenge and like dating and boyfriends. I mean, it's Taylor Swift. Like what else do we expect from her? But I don't know. There's a lot of like
gonna be
story
great.
behind it. I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. Lana Del Rey is featuring on one of them, and like all the Lana stans are going crazy over that.
She's amazing.
Yeah, and in
So
other
what's
news
been
with
going on with
Lana, she had her car broken into. She left her car idling or something for like 5 minutes. She was saying in a new video that she posted, and she was basically saying that like all 4 windows were broken. They took her backpack, they took her computer, they took her hard drives.
An ambush.
With all this,
Yeah.
an actual ambush. With all this like stuff on her computer, she had like a 200-page book that she was gonna release soon. That is now being released.
That's heartbreaking.
There-
She's probably
Like, someone
working
found
on
her
that for
diary,
so
bro.
long.
And same with these songs too. Like an artist is working on the song for so long. Like you have no come on. What gives you guys the right to like go and try and get a sneak peek? Like
Yeah.
obviously
And the
it's
chances
gonna
that they were
come.
finished too, they probably
Yeah.
weren't.
Like,
They're
don't
not
you want the
done.
finished product? You don't know what she was gonna do with any of that, or if she was just gonna scratch the whole thing and start over. Like, you have no idea, and like the fact that they're just gonna gonna release all of that with no.
And on top of that, it's like
horrible.
ethically wrong too. Like
so
you think that
wrong.
like
They broke into her
you know what,
car.
like all these people are like, we love Lana, we love her. It's the fans that are doing
Yeah.
this. You
You
love
think that
Lana
was a
so
fan?
much that like you're gonna make her feel like this. And,
No, like,
don't get me wrong, I'm
you're-
not trying to be a stan for Lana. I like listen to like Summertime Sadness, you know, but like that's messed up.
No,
Like,
it is. horrible.
It's also
It's such an
really dangerous
invasion.
too because she is a woman as a public figure, and now all of her private information that's on her laptop is it's accessible, and that's scary.
Exactly what
it's
she was
very
saying,
scary.
that, they had to. I didn't even know that you can do this, but they had to like remotely wipe her computer. And,
terrifying.
The people, I guess, who took it still have access to her phone because the iCloud, like, it just links it up. So like messages, like photos, like, inappropriate photos, like all
Anything,
being,
her whole life.
Yeah, it's
My whole
sad.
basically my whole life is on
It's
my
on your phone,
devices.
yeah.
If that were to happen to me, I mean, like for her, honestly, it's 10 times more
Yeah.
devastating. But still, it's
This might
it's
be
horrible.
a bit of a hot take, but if you're that famous and you got all that stuff,
Should be locking
you
your
gotta
car.
make it a little bit more difficult to get in there, or at least.
Well, no, but they
she-
broke the window.
Yeah,
she
they-
locked her
she-
car.
and
gotta-
she
hey,
did
you
say
gotta do better than
she
that.
did say like this is
your
like
backpack.
she like one of the times like she forgot her bag like in her car, like she never leaves anything in her car, and the one time she does that, there goes
It's
the
just-
album, there goes the book.
horrible.
Like,
It's so sad too because like she's definitely stalked like all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
yeah.
Like all the
24/7.
time. So like the fact that someone literally was like there
probably-
and like
yeah.
ran after it, broken it, like
Because
that
that probably wouldn't have happened if it was a normal person. All four windows,
Yeah,
they're like, we
no.
know that this is a celebrity's car. What can we gain from breaking
yeah.
into
And
it?
was it even a fan? Was it someone just?
don't know.
I mean, I'm a paparazzi, a fan of some sort. They obviously wanted the music, but the situation makes me think of Kim in Paris. Like
yeah.
the whole
Kardashian.
like it wasn't like these guys like saw Kim like in Paris, like let's go rob her. Like it was like premeditated a year ago, and like finding out where she was gonna be, what shot she's gonna be at, like what time she's gonna be home. They were watching
So
her Snapchat
scary.
story to see
Scary.
like where she's, you
Yeah.
know, if she's alone or not. And like it's insane to like be a celebrity thinking that like at any moment of the day like you can be in harm's way,
Exactly.
no matter how
They
much
can.
security you have.
It's terrifying.
It's
It is.
awful.
And I
And like
hope-
you can't really get a moment alone.
Yeah.
So.
It is.
I also just wanted to touch on this topic too, because we did talk about it last time. Post Malone.
Oh yeah, he
He's-
had a lot of artists come out in his
Yeah.
Atlanta show recently.
He's okay.
He's
okay.
okay.
He's
He
okay.
he's been
Homeboy-
continuing his tour.
He's fine.
He's okay now, so that's
Ribs
great.
are chillin', but he did bring out a lot of artists at his new show, the most recent show that he had. So it was like 21 Savage, Ski Mask, Roddy Ricch was always opening for him, but there were some others that were there too. But basically it was Quavo was there. It was basically like a mini music festival at
That's
his own concert,
insane.
like, and no one had any idea. Like you just went to the show and he brought out
Those are the
everyone. Like
best.
oh my god, like it's so great when artists bring people out, and the fact that he had like 4 or 5
Yeah,
big
like-
artists there,
Makes
just like
it so much
partying
more
with him,
enjoyable.
like
Yeah.
oh,
Because you're already there
I
going to
would
see
kill.
someone
That's
that
like
you
one of the-
love, and then
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
people
and then
come out.
everyone's just like pulling up
It's like
too,
a one of a lifetime
like
experience. Like when you ever gonna go see Post
Yeah.
Malone again? He's bringing out 5 different.
Oh,
people.
literally.
those
Sway
people.
Lee was
Yeah.
there too.
Like,
is
it's
another one.
crazy.
Yeah,
Sway
like
Lee.
Music is on the up right now. It really is.
it really is. Oh, great time to be
Yeah.
in music. But yeah. Oh, one last thing. We brought up the Arctic Monkeys, The Car. It's supposed to be a really, really good album. He actually debuted it in a show, like a mini show in Brooklyn. And actually, it was a venue that you had to lock your phone away. So
That's cool.
I know someone that went to that. He had to lock his phone away, and like it was just an experience, like completely like unplugged. So like you didn't get to record it, but he
That's
did
how
the
it should
whole
be.
It is
whole
how it should
album.
be. Sometimes
He-
phones ruin the concert,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
To see the moment, and there's always gonna be a camera. Just
Yeah.
Look it up on
the
YouTube.
moment.
Yes, exactly. There'll be people around you. Like,
No, literally.
enjoy it. Enjoy it while you're there. That's the only negative
Living in
aspect
the
of
moment.
Like
the music on the
Yeah.
rise, you know?
Yeah.
And like
Other
even
than that-
even the show, like you could still see it online, but like it was a show. Like he released 1 or 2 songs beforehand. Everyone knew all the words. They're just singing along. Like it
That's
was like
great.
a great experience. So like yeah, I'm excited for that album too. That's coming out I
Is
think
he?
on Friday.
Great.
When was the last time you dropped an album?
A while ago. I
He's been
think.
Arctic Monkeys has been around
Yeah,
for a
for
while,
a
so that's why
while.
it's also a big deal because people
Yeah.
people love the Arctic
Yeah.
Monkeys and they're like, finally another album.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it's great. Yes, so
Yeah.
music is on the
Excited.
rise right now. It's pretty
Love
great.
to hear it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for staying tuned to us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye guys.